This is the story of Odwalla, a kingdom of gold, of palm trees, and of people whose laughter rose like morning song. The rivers of Odwalla ran deep and wide, carrying both fish and fortune, and its soil was rich enough to feed every dream. On the golden throne of that land sat King Adewale, a man of great wisdom and gentle strength. He ruled with fairness, his heart open like the wide savannah. His people loved him, for under his reign, peace flowed like honey. Yet, even a wise man carries body in his heart. King Adewale had one son, which happens to be his sorrow, Prince Tayo. The prince was born with bright eyes and a quick mind, yet his heart was clouded by pride. He believed that because gold filled the palace and servants bowed at his feet, he needed nothing more. Learning seems to him a body meant for the poor. He spent his days admiring his own reflection, thinking that power alone was enough to rule a kingdom. The king watched his son grow, his hope slowly fading. He called teachers from across the lands, scholars and wise elders, but none could reach the young prince's heart. For whenever they spoke of knowledge, Tayo turned away. He laughed at wisdom. He mocked learning and patience. And in the middle of the night, the king would whisper to the stars, "How will he rule a people he does not understand?" While pride sat upon the prince's shoulders like a heavy crown, far from the palace, in the heart of Odwalla's busy market, lived a poor orphan girl named Amara. Her word was simple: a small mat to sleep on, a few calabashes, and the fan she wove by hand each morning to sell for food. But within her heart lived a hunger far greater than that of bread, the hunger for learning. Amara could not afford to attend school, yet every day she would sit quietly outside the classroom window, listening to the teachers. She learned from the wind. She learned from every word that escaped that tiny room. And when the lesson is over, she gathered the village children beneath the shade of a bamboo tree. There she would draw letters in the dust with a stick, teaching them what she had heard from the classroom. She used songs and stories, laughter and reading. The children clapped and sang, their voices echoing through the market. Though Amara's clothes were torn and her stomach sometimes empty, her smile never faded. And when the children asked her why she worked so hard, she would say with a quiet joy, "Knowledge is food that never finishes." In the palace, the king grew weary of watching his son waste his gifts. He decided that words alone would not teach the prince. Only life itself could do that. So one morning, before the sun had fully risen, the king summoned Tayo. He sent him away from the palace, dressed as a common man, with no crown nor gold. He told him to walk among the people and see the world he would one day rule. And so, the proud prince stepped into the world unknown. For the first time, he felt the dust of Odwalla's road beneath his bare feet. He passed through villages where children fetched water and where women pounded yam to feed their family. He saw laughter and struggle living side by side. And though he walked among the people, he spoke to no one, for his heart was still wrapped in pride. One day, as he wandered through the noisy market, he heard laughter carried by the wind. It was the laughter of children, free, full, and bright. Following the sound, he found himself beneath a great bamboo tree. There, seated on the ground, was a young woman surrounded by a circle of children. It was Amara. She was teaching them with joy, drawing shapes in the sand, turning lessons into song. The prince stood in the shadows, watching her. He saw no gold, no fine clothes, yet there was something in her presence that commanded respect. Her voice rose and fell like a melody, her face glowing with kindness. For the first time, Prince Tayo felt something stir inside him. Curiosity. He stayed, listening from afar, his heart quiet for once. The days passed and the prince returned to that place again and again. He came not as a ruler, but as a silent watcher. He listened to the way she spoke, the way the children's eyes light up with every lesson. He saw the beauty of learning, not as a burden, but as light. Slowly, the walls of pride within him began to crack. The marketplace, once just a place of trade, became his class. Through Amara's simple words, he began to see the world differently. He learned that true power is not in commanding others, but in understanding them. He saw how one poor girl with nothing but a stick and sand was shaping the minds of the future. And in her quiet strength, he saw the greatness he himself lacked. As time moved on, the people of the market began to notice the quiet young man who came daily to watch the orphan girl teach. They saw how he began to help her, carrying water, sweeping the ground, helping the little ones form their litters. He was learning humility step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat. And though the world did not know it, the prince was being reborn. One evening, as the sun melted into gold across the sky, the king sat alone in his palace. News had reached him of a mysterious young man who helped a poor teacher in the market, a man whose words carried wisdom beyond his age. Curiosity filled the king's heart. He disguised himself and went to see this wonder for himself. When he arrived, he saw his son, the proud Prince Tayo, kneeling in the dust beside Amara, teaching children how to write. The king's eyes filled with tears. He said nothing, but in his heart, he knew his prayer had been answered. The next day, the truth unfolded. The prince's identity could no longer be hidden. The market's people were astonished, but they are all soon turned to joy, for they had come to love him not as prince, but as a man of heart. The king welcomed Amara into the palace with honor and gratitude. He declared that wisdom knows no rank and that a teacher, no matter how poor, holds the key to a nation's greatness. From that day, Amara became the royal educator of Odwala, the first woman to hold such a title. She taught in the palace halls. Her lessons reached nobles and servants alike. And beside her always sat Prince Tayo, no longer proud, but eager to learn. Together, they planted the seeds of a new kingdom, one ruled by understanding, by patience, and by love of knowledge. Under their guidance, schools bloomed in every village. Children learned not only to read and count, but also to dream. The people found strength in wisdom, and the land prospered like never before. Years passed. Years passed. The young prince grew into a man of honor and compassion. And when King Adewale grew old, he placed the golden crown upon Tayo's head and smiled with peace. The kingdom rejoiced, for they had seen the change in their new ruler. At his coronation, King Tayo held a special ceremony. Before the drums and the dancing, he stepped forward holding a golden fan, shining with light. He turned to Amara, his teacher and friend, and presented it to her. That golden fan became the symbol of gratitude, a reminder of where wisdom began. And from that day, the people of Odwala celebrated the day of learning, honoring every teacher, every child, and every heart that sought knowledge. As the years flowed on, story of Kintayo and the wise Amara spread beyond Odwala's borders. Travelers told of a kingdom where rulers listened to the people, where children learned freely, and where no one was judged by their clothes but by the light of their mind. The tale became a song. Kindly celebrate every teachers around you. Remember, teachers build the future. And in Amara's words, knowledge is like a food. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please kindly drop a comment on the area you think I should work on, because it's a new channel. Like, subscribe to encourage me. Thank you so much. See you all.